go on to a little bit more of a presentation, and then I will do a guided meditation on, or lead one on, it's called Feel Good Practice. So, so let's just start with a practice of coming into the present moment, okay? And I'll start by ringing the bell. Okay. So it's up to you if you want to turn your screen off. That might make you feel more of a sense of privacy, or dim the lights in your room, whatever works for you. So just let yourself be in a posture that works for you. Aline, why don't you turn off your mic? Because there's a little bit of feedback. Thank you. Okay. So just letting yourself find a posture that works for you. Could be seated or standing or even lying down. So, and if at any point during this practice you feel agitated or activated in a way that makes you feel somewhat overwhelmed even, you can always shift your mind to something like an imaginary, an image or a memory that brings you a sense of calm and helps you to down-regulate the nervous system. So now, just taking a few moments to really settle yourself in a posture, inviting relaxation, but also some alertness. And the invitation here is to take a couple of deeper breaths to help you arrive at a deeper sense of relaxation. Inhaling, and then a slow and gentle exhalation. Maybe just focusing on 3 breaths. And now, just noticing the quality of presence that's here right now. You might be more focused or feeling more distracted. Just to begin to notice what's here now. I also invite you to orient to your surrounding environment, noticing what's around you as a way to invite yourself into the present. That could be through sound, noticing the soundscape that you're in. Could also be sight that's accessible to you. Just taking a moment to take in your surroundings. Letting the nervous system really be impressed in the present moment. And then taking a moment to notice what's here right now in terms of your own experience. whether it's physical, in terms of sensations that are predominant, or it could be a mood that's here right now, a background mood, or any narratives that are here. Noticing if you're telling yourself stories about what is happening, or just taking it all in. And the invitation is to extend some care to yourself inside of this moment. So just taking a moment to extend yourself some care, could be through a gesture like hands on the heart, some gentle contact. It could be through words, like a simple prompt, like, what do I need to hear right now? What will support me? Any gesture of care. And then in these final moments of the practice, just letting go of any doing. And again, now coming back to that quality of presence that's here. Finally, if there's any people or groups or communities that you'd like to extend this care to in this moment, just taking a moment then to wish them well, holding these people in your heart, in your care, and extending them some well wishes. May you be happy. So, anybody want to share how that was for you? You feeling more present right now? You can show with a little emoji. No one's feeling more present right now? Okay, Jock is. Colin is. Okay. Oh. So anybody else want to share what? Okay. Oh, looks like great. Okay. Wonderful. Let me see. Oh, Holly. Where's Holly? I don't see her. Let's see if I can put everybody up there. And there's Carol. Hi, Carol. Okay. Hi. Okay. So anybody else? Everybody feeling present? Yes? Ready to move on? Okay. Okay. I'm going to go back to speaker view. So, so I want to start with a discussion about the sensations in the body, being in the body rather than in the head. Most teachers, meditation teachers, will start with focusing on the body. Usually it's the breath. And why is that? Because the body's less complex. It's a lot easier to pay attention to the body than it is to emotions or thoughts. But there's always a component of sensation with thoughts and with emotions. And so I'd like to just read a quote by Tara Brach, which I think is important to just begin to get a sense of. And she says, when we open to the waves of sensation in the body, we become the ocean that the waves arise in. Now, that metaphor isn't used very often, but if we can eventually, through practice, identify with the ocean and letting the waves of sensations, thoughts, emotions, and all of that arise, if we're identified with the ocean, then we're not identified with the sensations. And if they come up and they're overwhelming, if our consciousness is big enough, like the ocean, then whatever's coming up, we either don't get overwhelmed, or if we do, it doesn't last for very long. So I would say that's one of the marks of progress on the path of meditation, becoming the ocean. And so the more we pay attention to the sensations in our body, we get bigger. Okay, we become the witness. So the thing is that most of the time we are on autopilot. And in fact, there's studies that show that 50% of the time we're on autopilot. So in other words, like we're tying our shoes while we're planning dinner or remembering what we did yesterday. So anyway, that means half of our lives we're not present in the moment. And some of us are never fully present. And the body's always present. So if you want to know if you're present, if you're aware of your body sensations, then you know you're present. And there's a lot of benefits to increasing our body awareness. Because first off, where do we feel the sensations of love and joy, appreciation, all the positive sensations? It's going to be in our body. And since the body's always in the present moment, it helps us to be mindful of what's happening now rather than be lost in thought. Remembering that thoughts are a step back from reality. They're a description of what's happening. They're not what's happening. They may be happening simultaneously, and they may be a thing, but when we're using the conceptual mind and we're not in our bodies, then there's a step away from the reality of being in our body and the reality of what we are experiencing. Someone says, it's a finger pointing to the moon, thoughts. So as we become more clear about our sensations, it allows us to be able to untangle what our experience is happening. In other words, we can break it into its component parts. So which part of it is thinking, which part of it is emotion, which part of it is sensation. Right? And in the unified mindfulness system, which is developed by Shinzen Young, they define mindfulness as having 3 components: okay, concentration power, sensory clarity, and equanimity. So today we're focusing on the sensory clarity part. And the guided meditation that we'll be doing is designed by one of the teachers at Unified Mindfulness. If you're interested in maybe finding out more about that particular system, if you go to, just Google Unified Mindfulness, and they have a free class that lasts, I think it's maybe 10 lessons, and it's really very well done. That really goes into breaking down seeing, hearing, feeling, and experiencing, concentration and what equanimity is. So, yeah. So we can use this, if we're aware of the sensations in our body, we can use the stress reaction that we feel in our body to pause so that we have a choice about how to respond. Rather than let our thoughts, for example, like say our thoughts were bad parenting, and then we yell at the other parent, and then we only make the situation worse. So the only thing that some people are highly sensitive to body signals. And in the research, it's called interoception, which is a word for internal perception as opposed to external perception. It's the signals that the body gives us. It's spelled interoception, interoception. There's been a lot of studies done on it more recently. And in a study that was published by the NIH, National Institutes of Health, they quote, they say, sensitivity may be high without commensurate accuracy or regulation ability, such as with the uncontrollable interoceptive false alarms that are observed in the anxiety disorders, or people with joint hypermobility. They may have greater interoception sensations, and then they may continue it may contribute to feelings of anxiety. So as they say, the access to visceral sensations may be helpful or harmful to a person depending on how such awareness is understood. So we want to be aware of them, but we also want to be able to assess them accurately. Sometimes we can feel anxiety and there's nothing happening. In fact, a couple of years ago, I think I might have mentioned this before, I remember leaving my house and thinking, oh my God, I'm feeling anxiety. Why do I have anxiety? I don't feel anxiety when I go to take hip hop at the Y. And then I thought, I wonder if the Sudafed that I took could cause my heart to race. And then I looked at like, oh, see, I don't really have anxiety. It's just an antihistamine. So that's why it's important to be in touch with it, and then, be aware of what's going on in your body. What are you doing earlier too? So yeah, being able to interpret it is important. Yeah, and the thing that I mentioned, now that we're on that, is about coming the ocean that the sensations arise in. I remember sitting on the beach with my friend Susan when I had first learned a process called whole body focusing. And she has Lyme disease, chronic Lyme disease, and that she has it in her, it's kind of lodged, the microbes or whatever they're called, have lodged in her heart. And they cause her to have her heart to be racing a lot. And so as we sat on the beach and I had her really be with the environment, to expand her consciousness to the environment around her, it didn't take long for her to really say, yeah, because the container becomes bigger, the sensations, even though I call it anxiety, it's simply heart racing. So the consciousness is in the container rather than what's happening in the container, or it's bigger. So, so if you're interested in whole body focusing, let me know and I'll link you up to that, because it's just a beautiful process. And the other thing is, if you happen to be highly sensitive to the body signals, then you might need to work with a therapist. There's what is called mindful awareness body therapy, developed by, what is her name? Price, Cynthia Price. She's at the University of Washington. And I think there are people around the country now that practice it. And then there's also somatic experiencing therapy, so working with the body. Anyway, so we are under a lot of stress. Then what we want to do usually is fix it, right? And that means we go up into our heads. So we leave our hearts, and we leave the tenderness of our hearts and the openness of our hearts. So I'll share a story that kind of illustrates that. So there were two men playing on a course, and one man is about to take a swing when a funeral procession appears on the road right next to the course. Mid-swing, he stops everything. He puts down his club, takes off his cap, closes his eyes, and bows his head in contemplation. His companion comments, "Wow, That's the most touching thing I've seen you do. You are a very feeling man. The man recovers himself and says, yeah, well, we were married for 35 years. I know that's awful, but it's so funny. So anyway, so we cut off from our hearts. And there's a lot of levels that happen when we dissociate. Um, uh, yeah. So the idea is, in fact, just maybe take a moment now to check in with you, with your body, and just see if you're in your body right now. Let me see some hands or an emoji. You're feeling like you're in your body right now, or you feel like you're more up in your head? In your body, let's see a yes or a no. Yes? Yeah. No. Okay. All right. So Colin knows he's not, and looks like Dorothy's sort of in and out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So Donna,
Yeah.
Dorothy mentioned that she'd like to get some more information about that whole body focus
Okay.
and the other items that you mentioned.
Hold on. Okay. Great. I'll send you a link, Dorothy. Okay. Oh, Carol too, and Eileen. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Great. Great. Okay. Thank you, Colin.
Welcome.
So the idea is, how do we stay connected to our body? And there are some sort of basic ways. First, it's always remembering to pause during the day. And in the beginning, putting little signs up around, Post-it notes that say pause. After a while, you won't see them. So, yeah. And during the day, when you notice that you've left your body, that's when you can pause, you take a breath and invite yourself to come back. And even like for 3 seconds, just take a deep breath and just tell yourself, come back. Interrupt whatever, even when you're in the middle of a conversation, to even say to yourself, be here.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah. Yeah. So that way we're more responsive and less habituated, And then we link it to other things too, like let's say when you're making dinner or you're taking a shower or a bath, to actually just open to your sensations, so that, especially in the shower, they're actually pleasant. Feeling the slipperiness of the soap on your body and the warmth of the water. Although I have to admit, you're not going to be perfect at it, and probably never will be. After 20 years of practicing meditation, I'll share with you a little story about one of the priests in the Hollow Bones Zen order was talking about her sister that she went camping with. And she said she was really grateful for her meditation practice because her sister wasn't there. Her sister was always talking about what's going on at home, worrying about her son. She just wasn't in the woods with her camping. So I was thinking about that when I went to because I have an outdoor shower, which I totally love. And it feels like a privilege to be able to take a shower in the sun, amongst the flowers, just a joy. So I'm in the shower and I'm thinking about what Kabbalah said, and I'm thinking that's a really, really good example to share in terms of the importance of being present where you are and enjoying, especially if you're in the woods, right? And you're in nature. And then I'm thinking, geez, I wonder what it is that makes us dissociate. And then I'm remembering a few years ago, Michael saying to me when we're out walking in the woods, let's just be here now. Could we just be here now? And then all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, I missed half of this delightful shower. There I am. It's like, oh my gosh, talk about the irony. So Holly, would you mute yourself? There's a little feedback there. Thank you. So again, we're not going to be perfect at it. And so it's important to be easy on yourself. And we don't get support for that in our culture anyway, for being present in our bodies. we really want to get to, we can't be unsure. We want to know where we're going and get there. And that's what we get supported for. Being clear and knowing where we're going. And then hurrying up. You know. Anyway, so let's see. So if you really want to know how connected you are to your body, if you Google scale of body connection and National Institutes of Health, there's a study that was developed, and they have a test that you can take, and it tells you how to score it, so you can get a sense of just how connected you are to your body. And even if you don't take the test, to look at some of the ideas about, am I aware of how my body's feeling right now? Does it feel, how does it feel? Those kind, they give you some very specific questions. So you might want to try that. All right. So I think what we'll do now is a guided meditation on, it's called Feel Good. Just feel good. So like I said, it was developed by the teachers at Unified Mindfulness. It's just a lovely practice. So before we start, are there any questions? Does the pain put you into your body? That's a good question, Dorothy. Does pain put you into your body? I think it does, but I also think that, you know, a lot of times we want to ignore it or get angry at our bodies. In fact, next week we'll be focusing on working with pain in the body. Because I thought this week we'd do positive sensations, and then next week we'll do negative sensations or difficult or challenging. And then we'll do a dissolving pain guided meditation. So, which really works. Okay. Any other questions, Carol?
No, I was just,
Okay. Okay, you want to maybe mute yourself then? And yeah, looks like, is everybody muted now? Carol, bottom left, where it says, has a mic. There you go. Okay, good. Okay. So let's again get into a comfortable position. And doing this practice helps us to have more choice about where we place our attention. So, and if we're feeling challenged, we can always create a positive emotional state. So, and it's really powerful to have that choice. So I'll ring the bell. See if you can follow that sound into silence. And sitting upright, alert, dignified, and also relaxed. Eyes open if it feels right. And if they are open, you may want to gaze downward. So in the first part of the practice, we'll focus on image space. Cultivating a positive image. Maybe a beautiful vista or a beach, mountains, maybe a loved one, a beloved pet. So holding an image that feels very positive in your mind. We are seeing good. Let's just hold our positive image together. if the image fades, just call it up again. Keeping the attention on that positive image. Noticing if you can detect positive emotions in the body. Noticing if it's subtle. And that's okay. Every time the image fades, just calling it up again, as if you're striking a bell. If you notice that you're having thoughts like, this is stupid, or this is weird, or why am I doing this? We're just experimenting together to see if we can, in fact, cultivate positive emotions. So just keep your focus on your positive image and see if you can detect any positive emotions. And now, let's turn our attention to inner hearing space. Selecting a positive affirmation, mantra, phrase, or even a word that you can say to yourself or repeat to yourself. Something that will help you to cultivate positive emotions. For example, I am well. I am healthy. I am at peace. If you struggle to find something to repeat, maybe select a line from a prayer, from a poem, from a song that you love. This is your practice, and you get to choose picking something that you get to repeat to yourself. Perhaps the words, I am grateful. And noticing the tone of the voice you use in your mind as you repeat this. Trying to be gentle, kind, positive. Could even repeat, thank you, thank you. Whatever feels good for you. Notice any positive emotions that arise in the body as you repeat your positive affirmation. Really trying to soak in any positive emotions. It takes about 5 times longer to soak in a positive emotion. It's much easier to contact negative emotions. So that's why we're focusing on positive, and that's why it's important. It gives us more choice about where we place our attention. Just keep repeating that positive affirmation. When you notice that your mind has wandered off, every time you bring the mind back, you're building concentration. So distractions don't have to be a problem. They're just helping you build your attentional muscle. So just keep on returning. And if you're not sure what to repeat, you could try, I belong, we belong. And if you're having a hard time contacting positive emotions, no need to make it a problem. It's all good. We're just practicing, and practice takes time. It's all good, and so are we. Repeating your affirmations. And now, as you continue with your affirmation, you might want to smile. Smiling triggers positive emotions in the brain and the body, like being silly, even if it feels a little forced. You could try it. So smiling. And if your smile fades, you can smile again. And again, use your detection skills to see if you can notice positive emotions. Smiling is a way to feel well, feel good, feel positivity. You can try to keep on smiling even if it feels weird. Keep smiling. Perhaps being interested to observe what the smiling triggers. Cultivating positivity is about choice, not about bypassing difficult emotions or what's going on in your experience. It's really about being able to develop the skill to create positive emotion in your experience, especially because we have a negativity bias in the brain. So it's really easy for us to get stuck in negative emotions and negative stories. So when we cultivate positive emotions, we're creating a new neural pathway, and we savor the positive emotions longer in order for it to change the brain. So again, finding your posture and finding your positive image, calling up a beautiful beach, a beloved friend, holding the picture in your mind, the image in your mind. You could keep repeating the affirmation or phrase. You could smile. We'll keep doing this for just a few more moments. Remember, if you drift off, just come back to the practice. Positive image, positive phrase, your smile. So during our last couple of minutes during this practice, if you're really able to contact a lot of positive emotions, just really soak that in and savor it. And if you're not, if you're feeling emotionally more at peace, that's okay. And if you're feeling more difficult emotion arising, and then maybe focusing away, just noticing your feet on the ground can be a helpful anchor. Seeing good, hearing good words in your mind, smiling. Okay, so if anybody wants to share either how the guided meditation, did it work for you? Were you able to find positive emotions? See if they're in unified mindfulness, is seeing, thinking is put into sort of sensations. It's what we see in our mind and what we hear, the voices, the conversations we hear in our mind. So it's that seeing and hearing, which is kind of a fascinating way to think about thinking. Aline, you're able to find positive emotions. Wonderful. Yeah. I see Carol smiling. Okay. I'm going to put it on gallery view so we can see everybody. There we go. Yeah. So, any questions about the stuff we went over about being in the body and cultivating positive emotions? No question. Okay, so my husband brought in his camera, which is on a tripod about 6 feet tall, and there's a tape, picture. I'm sorry, a thing he printed out, and it says, "What's the one thing you learned today that will impact your life?" He wants me to ask you that. What's the one thing you learned today that will impact your life? Okay, so anybody want to share? You can unmute yourself, and I'll just call your name so everybody knows you're going to talk. Okay. Carol?
I really love this meditation. First, I think it was just what I needed. And I like that idea of positive affirmations.
Yeah.
That's different from a mantra or, I like that a lot.
Okay, yeah, positive affirmations, yeah. Or just positive, thinking of good, something good, positive images and positive words. So both, yeah. Okay, great, Carol, thank you. Dorothy, yeah.
I can't, I put a sentence on chat, but I can't, it won't go on anyhow.
Oh, that's odd. Okay.
I needed to be in balance. I was out of balance and I wasn't centered, and I had lots of rainbows reminding me to balance the chakras. So I did that. And I got a saying from Michael J. Rhodes. And I've been using it, and it's I'll share it with you. It says, let's see, loving myself makes me immune to all diseases.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a very powerful statement, especially now when we're having all this virus afflictions.
I know.
Then last night I was watching a movie, and it was on a virus that got out of control and drove people mad.
Oh, no.
And at the very end, they found, of course, a cure.
Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah. So that's why your chakras are out of alignment, huh?
I don't know. Yesterday, I just felt out of it. I
You
just
did,
felt, I felt like a rebel. Like I just didn't want to, you know, do this anymore.
Yeah, I go through that sometimes too. It's like enough. Yeah.
Right.
For a long time. It is. It'll be so wonderful we can get back together and hug each other.
Yeah.
We'll have to
Virtual
have a
hug.
party. All come together from all over the country.
Gonna be a while.
Yeah. No. Anyway, okay. Was there something else you wanted to share, Dorothy?
I guess that was it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Carol? Wait a minute. I think I
She's
need,
muted.
yeah.
I love all those suns on Colin's wall.
Oh,
Yeah, I do too.
they're very cheerful.
It's my wife's hobby.
A happy hobby.
Right. Everywhere we go, we try to find the sun, anywhere we've been in the world.
Oh, how
So they've
wonderful.
been collected from all over the place.
Oh, how wonderful.
I just wanted to say that the thing that I'm taking away from it today
Yeah.
is pausing, stopping during the day,
Mm.
centering yourself.
Mm.
And maybe it's thinking positive thoughts, maybe it's just thinking about slowing down and stopping, taking a pause,
Yeah.
thinking about what you're doing, where you are.
Mm.
Because like you said, which I'm always on automatic pilot. My brain is off doing its own thing.
Yeah.
I think I really appreciate that idea.
Great. So I'll look forward to having you check in next week and see how many times you
Okay.
paused. Okay.
Okay, I'll keep count.
All right. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank
I think hearing that the negative is stronger than the positive, that we have to make the positive, we have to be conscious of making things more positive or being,
Yeah.
I think I'm basically a positive person, but so much has happened in the last couple of days with COVID and several of my friends. And it can be overwhelming if you don't make that pause or if you don't make yourself find some positive things. We ate breakfast and lunch outside today, and I think that made a big difference just to be out in the fresh air and the trees and the birds, and it just helps the mind so much more in the body.
Yeah. Yeah. Really does. Go ahead, Aline. Thank you, Maureen.
In the world of hypnotherapy, in the days that I used to teach people to become hypnotherapists, one of the things that I used to teach is that this chatter that goes on in our brains is so often negative, and it's really hard to change the words, but we can fairly easily change the delivery.
The tone, you mean, the voice?
So one of my favorite characters is Goofy. And so, if the chatter in my head is, I'm just not enough.
Yeah.
But I change it to, I'm really not just enough. It takes power.
Yay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cute.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, they use that in acceptance and commitment therapy too, ACT, yeah, which is based on mindfulness, but they do, one of the things they suggest is using if you have some recurring thoughts that are difficult to be with, is to, sound like Donald Duck or, like you said, Goofy, yeah.
Change delivery.
And then it's gone, yeah, so makes sense. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. So, Holly, did you want to share anything?
No, I didn't have a real good day, but the practice was good.
Yeah, good,
Yeah, very
good.
Thank you.
So, and I am recording this because Jock asked. And so what I'm going to do is create a YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and do that guided meditation again,
Great.
you'll be able to. Yeah.
Where, how would we just go on YouTube and put in your name then, Donna?
I think so. But when I'm done, I'll let you know and send you a link. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Okay.
Dorothy, Donna,
Yeah.
Dorothy had a question.
Okay.
You take a look at the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and a question. What was being in the body? And what?
Test.
Go ahead. Oh, oh yeah. That was
The scale of body connection.
yep, scale of body connection. Just put that in, and it's developed by Cynthia Price, but it's at the National Institutes of Health. That's where I found it. Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's very helpful to look at the list of the questions they have.
Was that first word scale? SCALE?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Great. Okay. Wow. Thank you all for showing up.
Thank
Our
you.
community feels so beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
Have a
It's
good
so
week.
wonderful to see you all. Thank you
Thank
for showing up. Blessings to all. Have a beautiful week.
You too,
Too.
everybody.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Thank you, Donna.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Donna.
My pleasure. Thank you.